Hey guys, it's Rob here from Dodge and Fusky in for pluginboutique.com. Today I'm having a bit of a play with Egoist by Bytes, which is a kind of groovebox tool for making kind of tune ideas and slicing up loops. It's pretty cool. You can either run it in a host sequencer, where you can sync it to the to your sequencer and have automation and stuff like that, or what I think more people will use it for is a kind of standalone toy for making ideas, because it's pretty awesome to just have a little play with. I'm very quickly just going to show you just like a quick thing that I made in about 2 minutes as a kind of quick demo. What this reminds me of is it's actually the first thing I ever made music on, which was a Roland MC303 Groovebox, and this is a kind of a digital equivalent of that. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff like MPC emulations around these days which kind of emulate old drum machines, but this is kind of like a modernized, reinvented kind of Groovebox. It's a great idea to get things, get ideas flowing. So what I'm going to do very quickly is just kind of, we've only got limited time. Obviously, this isn't going to be the biggest in-depth manual of how to use it, but it'll give you a very good idea. So I'm going to start right at the beginning. I'm just going to start a blank setting. So the first thing that you want to do is get some kind of loop involved to start playing with. Now there's three main sections. There's a loop slicer, a drum machine, and bass pattern sequencer, and effects, which have kind of Bytes' trademark glitchy effects built in, which are great. So I'm just going to load in. Before I had like a custom loop loaded in of mine. But there's loads of stuff built in. Let me just kind of get in, is there some guitar, something like that, like an acoustic loop. So the sequencer here by default is playing slice number 1. You can play through the loops by clicking them, and you can basically play what loop plays in what order here, and you can turn certain ones off. You can change the pitch if you want certain notes to be playing above and below their standard pitch here. You can change master pitch, you can change the length of each individual notes, envelopes, maximization, and then things like attack and decay. And say, for example, I'm just going to put a very simple loop together kind of randomly. And you can see that you'll kind of get, I'm going to reduce the tempo a little bit just so you can get an idea, a bit slower as well. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to load back in the loop that I was playing with before, because it'll give a good idea of what I used it for, so you can see how I made that. Certain loops work better than others. I think ones that have nice percussive sounds work really nicely. So what I'm going to do is just make a very quick loop using that. So I know it's in F sharp, that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of, just at random really, because this is the best bit about it, is just having a bit of a play. Make a little bass line loop first. And I'm going to put some beats in. You can change the articulation of the beats and in terms of their volume, and you can change hats to be open or closed. So I'm just going to kind of do something at random really. There's loads of ways you can change the synth as well in terms of the bass synthesizer. And then in terms of effects, you can kind of just bung stuff on, and you can affect what you want it to go on. So for example, I might just want to put it on the beat, so have like a kind of a beat repeat, and have some lo-fi crunch effects. And yeah, so it's very much an experimental kind of music making tool, which is great for kind of getting ideas down as a jot pad. There's also some master controls, such as you can change the swing. To get a kind of old school kind of vibe going. You can, like I was saying before, you can link to the BPM of your host sequencer. There's built-in maximization. There's loads of ways you can tweak the sound. And finally, down the bottom, obviously because this has to be a very quick video. Down the bottom, what we have here is different patterns, so we can edit pattern number 1, number 2, for example. So let me just make a different pattern here, again with the same sample, but like a different kind of rhythm going on it. And what you can then do is you can make different parts, which then comprise parts of the song. So for example, you'd have patterns here, pattern number 1, and then you could make a part. So I'm just going to make a part number A, which is just going to comprise of loop number 1, and then part number B is going to comprise purely of loop number 2, and then you can arrange your song to be A, then B, then A, so it will just play the first part, the second part, the third part. I made no drums on the second one. Obviously that's a very basic song, but it should give you an idea of how kind of quickly you can get some ideas down with this, and just kind of, it's great for just experimenting and playing, coming up with stuff that you might not come up with if you were using a traditional sequencer and you were kind of being very you know, kind of premeditated in your approach. So yeah, as a beat making tool, I think it's great fun, and I can see people getting a lot of use out of it. So hopefully this video has been of use in terms of giving a brief overview of what the plugin's capable. Obviously there's a lot more that I could possibly fit into a few minutes, but yeah, hopefully that's got you inspired, and have fun with it. This has been Rob from Dodge and Fusky, in for pluginboutique.com.